Hey everybody, it's Seth.
Hi, it's Becky.
And we are taking some time off to retool the podcast.
It's going to be new, improved, fresh, with lots of great new elements, and we're going to relaunch in January.
Yes, so until then, because you're a loyal listener, we want to go back into the archives and bring back some of these episodes that we think you might like.
We've had some great interviews over the last couple of years, and we want you to hear them.
Here's one right here.
Enjoy.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
The
Brief.
Yeah.
This is the D-Brief.
Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's arts.
Arts and entertainment scene.
This is the
Brief.
Hello and welcome to the Debrief. I'm your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
And I'm Becky Scarcello.
All right, Becky, you know that I like drinking beer.
As do I.
And I like biking.
As do I. This is something that we can both agree on.
This is one of the few things that we can agree on.
We love, yes,
and
together.
there is something that I have seen since I first got to Detroit, and I have to admit, I haven't done it yet, and I'm dying to do it. You've done this, right?
Yes, a couple times.
You've been on the HandleBar, these pedal pubs that go around. You see them around downtown, groups of people just drinking and having fun.
Got the big old keg on it.
I interviewed Evrad Kasimi of WDIV, of Channel 4, and asked him what was next on his Detroit to-do list. Like, what did he want to do? Yeah, and this is what he said. And I was like, dude, you are so right. That's what I want to do. Well, we're very excited because we have on the show today Brian Lindsay of HandleBar, Detroit's original pedal pub. So we're going to find out what goes into basically drinking and biking.
Yeah.
So welcome, Brian. Welcome to the podcast.
Cool. Thanks, guys. That's quite the intro.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm all about it. I mean, I remember seeing it early on. I was like, that's awesome.
You see these and you're like, those people are having fun. Like, they're having a good time.
So I got to ask, what is the story behind it? Did you see this somewhere else and then bring it to Detroit? Is it something
exactly what you just said is kind of what me and my brother did. I mean, we saw one actually in Milwaukee in 2011. And Steven, my brother, texted me a picture of it and was like, we're doing this. And I was like, absolutely, I'm in. Or I think I said, like, dude, I'm in.
Right.
Did he think you meant start a company, or did you just thought
No, start a company. So the backstory is, like, our parents are entrepreneurs, and even though we're not, we're both went to college to become engineers, we kind of always wanted to be a little bit, just in this kind of unstable career. And we always had bad ideas, a lot of bad ideas, or we'd think something would be cool, then we'd Google it and it existed or something like that.
Right.
Oh, wait, I want to hear some of the bad ideas.
What didn't work out?
If the pedal pub made it, what didn't?
The pedal pub was the best idea, but like, it's just like you're drinking and you think, oh, what if there was a way to do, I don't know. If I say an idea, it's not even
pedal pilot. Nope, that one doesn't work.
Yeah, but the thing is, we text each other about like things we should do,
right?
Because we were both kind of getting sick of corporate America and stuff, and it would be a fun way to get out and try something different. So no, it was definitely like we should start a business.
And where were you living at the time? You and your brother?
Yeah, I was in Ann Arbor, and my brother was down in Indianapolis working at Rolls-Royce. So I was at Toyota, he was at Rolls-Royce, sorry, and. The next weekend I went to Milwaukee and saw it and was like, this is pretty sweet. And then 3 months later, we had after a lot of disagreements and arguing how we can get it going and whatever. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, but never starting a business before was a lot of discussions and whatnot. So 3 months later or something like that, I think we had a bike.
What are the challenges? I mean, can you buy a pedal pub off the rack, or do you have to have them custom built?
Yeah, so, the pedal pub, who came up with this idea? It was a couple guys, Henk and Zwier van Laar, over in Amsterdam in Europe. So it's been going on there for 20 years. And that's kind of what ended up happening was these guys, so there was this King's Day parade, which is a huge parade in Amsterdam, just a big party. And the two guys, like, one of them is a welder, and his friend owns a bar. And he's like, dude, I want to be in this parade. Why don't you weld me up a bicycle bar? Because in Amsterdam, the bicycle is like massive. If you guys ever been there,
it's
like there's like a million bicycles.
Insane.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So everything's bikes.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I can weld something up. So he welded this crazy contraption. And then, long story short, people were like, dude, I want to ride that on the weekend. And he's like, okay, you want to rent it from me or what? And then obviously that turned into a real business. They started making them better and better and better. But our bikes or pedal pubs are from those guys. They hand build them. We have them ship them over on a boat.
Wow.
Yep. So they basically protect, the cities that we're in. So they wouldn't sell to a competitor in Detroit.
So it's market exclusive.
Yeah, so like we call our bike the HandleBar. You know, we think that's a cool name.
Yep.
But the bike itself is the manufacturer, like a Ford or a Chrysler or Toyota or whatever. It's Het Fiets Cafe. So it's a Dutch word. Het means the, Fiets is a bicycle, and cafe is a pub. So the bike pub.
But presumably other bike pub manufacturers have popped up over the years.
Yeah, right. So people saw it like, whoa, what's this? This is pretty cool. We should build these ourselves because they wouldn't sell to anybody else. So we do have 2 new competitors in Detroit that came in after us.
Does Elon Musk know about this?
Yeah, right?
Because I feel like he might want to get in on the action.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you talk to him and he wants to buy us out,
I was going to say,
know.
let's collab.
So how many do you own at this point?
So we have 10 pedal pubs in Detroit, 8 in Indianapolis, 4 in Toledo, Ohio, and then my brother and one of our Aussie drivers started it over in Australia, and they've got 6 over there.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yep. The handlebar's grown.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
plan
pretty
to expand other cities as well?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, right now it's kind of like I quit my job last year as an engineer.
Oh.
So it's like...
Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank
that
you.
had to feel good.
Yeah, thank you. Huge step.
It's got to feel scary at first.
Oh, dude, I feel like such a wimp because, you know, I talk to all the other entrepreneurs and they're like, oh, yeah, I just jumped off. Brought a brick and mortar.
You did it the right way.
Bought a brick and mortar and blah, blah, blah. And they're like my parents. Like
Right.
they opened a furniture store in Ludington, Michigan. It's like, how'd you guys move from Detroit to Ludington, Michigan and start furniture? Like that's crazy risk. For me, I had insurance, you know, a good business going. And then I was like, well, you know, might as well just...
Right.
Yeah, so it was...
Yeah, that seems smart.
Maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit, but
You wouldn't have been on the Mayflower. You would have been like the 16th, 17th ship that came over.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
get ready now.
So I was more than ready to leave. I mean, I was doing part-time. I did 4 days a week, then 3 days a week. And then it was like, what am I doing?
Now, are these vehicles on the road all year round, or do you have to take...
Yes and no. I mean, we operate basically March through November.
That's early in the year.
We don't do a ton in March. You know, it's like St. Patrick's Day is a huge day.
Sure.
Sorry, not Thanksgiving, but in November you'll get people that want to tailgate or something like that. But the busy season is like April, May through September.
What's your busiest day of the year?
Well, all Saturdays are pretty busy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty equal.
That sounds like a kind of an arrogant answer.
But there isn't no one event that like...
No, and it's kind of counterproductive. It's kind of counterintuitive. Like people will say, wow, the Super Bowl is in Indianapolis. You guys must have been so busy. And it's like, well, not really. When there's a huge event, people want to go to that event.
Right.
So whether they can do the 2 o'clock tour or the 4 o'clock or the 6 o'clock, they don't really care. It's whatever's open.
Right.
Whereas if there's a huge event, you may center around that. No one wants to miss it to be on a pedal pub. I don't know.
So what's the secret if you're telling people how to kind of structure what their experience would be on the handlebar?
You mean, what do I tell a customer? It's like, I want to do one?
Yeah.
Well, you know, primarily I don't have to tell people it's a pub crawl. They get that part of it. It's a bring your own alcohol thing, which is pretty cool because, you know, things can get expensive and it's nice to supplement what you're doing with some store bought stuff versus bar. But, you know, the biggest thing I think that people don't realize that they always tell us after the tour is Detroit's awesome. I got to see so many cool things. And I'm not just saying they did. It's a 2-hour tour and they get to see all kinds of new stuff. In Detroit, we're kind of piggybacking on, you know, everything that's going on in Detroit because even people who say they know Detroit, they don't. I mean, they come down and go, what's that bar? What's that restaurant? What's going to be that building? Or what's, you know, so that is a part of it that they, you know, they get out of it. And I always remember Jason Hall saying, like, you know, there's no better way to see the city on a bicycle.
Correct.
We are kind of that way because people are going 5 miles an hour.
You're like, I'll see your bicycle and I'll raise you beer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're on your bike, it's like you have a little bit more freedom. But when you're on this, you're not steering, you're not braking. You're just listening to music, pedaling, and you can't help but look around. Right. You're only going 5 miles an hour, and so you get to see some cool stuff.
So talk about some of the routes that you go on.
So we start in 2 locations. 8 of our bikes start in Greektown behind Old Shillelagh, and then 2 of them start up in at Detroit Shipping Company, just 3 blocks north of the LCA. But pretty much we can cover all of downtown from both areas. in the 2-hour tour. So, for example, people that come on the tour are like, first they think the bar is the main thing. Which bar are we going to go to? I don't want to know. I want to talk about which bar. There's so many bars. Actually, it's more about the route we find. And you get to see Spirit of Detroit, Comerica Park, Ford Field, Campus Martius, all up and down Woodward, Capitol Park. You can see all that in 2 hours. So, and if some people are like, hey, I did the downtown one, I want to do Eastern Market, I want to do Corktown, we can do that too. For the most part, though, people are like, they just want to be around their friends, cut loose, let us take them around, get a couple pictures, and have a good time. But I don't know if that answers your question. We can go anywhere, though.
Right.
Downtown. You can customize.
Yeah, and the Detroit Shipping Company, those spots, like if people want to go north and hit Midtown, hit Jolly Pumpkin or go north at a Hopcat or Honest John's or whatever, we can do that too.
And that's relatively new, right? That you added the shipping company.
Yep. It's this year. We just added 2 at Shipping Co., which that bar is awesome. The owners are just super cool, but like people pull up there and they're like, "What are we doing here? Shipping company? What is that?" And I don't know if you guys have been there.
Oh yeah, many times.
Okay. Yeah, but a lot of people are coming in from the suburbs and they don't know, or they may be heard, but they didn't know. It's like 3 5-star food truck style restaurants.
Nepalese dumplings coming in.
I
just like saying Nepalese dumplings
last week.
Yeah.
So
and there's a bar. It's a patio. There's live music, and it's huge. That's part of the pedal pub thing. Is we drop off at a bar. The bar and us. We're in a relationship, right? We want to make sure that the bar gives good service, and that we send them somewhere that's going to be a good fit. So, like for example, if we're sending them to a tiny hallway bar, might be cool for me to pop in there and get a drink. Could be one of my favorite bars, but to drop 16 and push them in there on a consistent basis, it might be not a good fit. So Shipping Company's a great fit for that. We don't take money from bars, by the way. Definitely they try to give us money. But
that's
I
such
wish
a
people
problem.
tried to give us money. Yeah,
it's
that problem all the time.
Well, it's that. Yeah, it makes me sound stupid, like I'm an idiot businessman. But it keeps a good relationship.
Yeah, right.
We've just heard things. Both our competitors do that, and for us, it's like if we don't get bad service, we're out.
Right.
If our customers don't want to go somewhere, we don't go there.
Right.
If this group seems like they want to go, we had a group go to San Morello, I think yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Okay, we'll go there. We'll go anywhere you want to go. Our drivers all know the city pretty well, and if they don't know, then we'll take you where we think is cool. But,
right. So talk about your drivers, like how you train people and who they are and what their background is.
That's probably the most important part of the business.
Yeah, I would think so.
And they probably think that I'm just blowing smoke. You guys are the most important, but they really are. And if you read the reviews and stuff, it's usually the tour was awesome, Detroit's awesome, and my driver Nick was great, or whoever the driver was, they think that's the best person. And so the training, that's also probably the toughest part, because you got to find the right personality. Somebody who's chill but can still be like, yo, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Sit down in your seat. You can't hang from the roof. You can't stand on the bench, but in a cool, fun way.
Right.
So
no, that is being a tour guide myself. That is a tough line.
We talk about it all the time. Yep. And the guys who've been with us for a while, they're like, it's like they're just so good at it. I don't even have to worry about it. And then the new guys get there. It's not a career position for most people.
Yeah.
So we get some turnover and stuff like that. But the guys that have been doing it, honestly, I don't know what they'd say about me, but they're like my friends. It's who I hang out with the most these days. So went out and got drinks with a bunch of them last Saturday. So it's the most important part of the business for sure.
Can you talk about, as you were setting this up in the city of Detroit, what were the hurdles, especially bureaucratic or legal hurdles that you had to go through to make this happen?
Yeah.
I probably should say it was super easy and the city was awesome and it was great.
I know that's not true.
Well, right. Okay, so my thing is always individually, each person that we met with was awesome. They were like, oh, this is a great idea. We didn't run into anybody saying like, you can't do that. But we ran into a lot of, well, I don't know about that. You might need a license for that. Okay, well, you're the licensing department, so what do we do? How do we go? No one was really understanding of what to do. And there was a lot. It's a big city. There's a ton of things going on. Are we a priority? Not really. So we're knocking on their door and stuff and going around and making the rounds at Coleman Young Building. And lot of that before we finally got, going.
Did they have to invent a license for you, or?
Well, what they ended up doing was they considered us a pedicab.
Okay.
Which is like those bikes
Right.
with the people on the back. So we knew a couple owners from that, and they were help. Like I said, everybody was actually really helpful. Like the pedicab guys were very helpful in the beginning. We're like, who'd you talk to? What are we doing here? We're scrambling. And so they call us a pedicab in the city. That's our license through the city. And things have changed over the last 4 years of exactly what that is, but essentially.
Do you have a liquor license as well?
No liquor license. So so what happened was the state passed a law in July of 2015. Snyder signed a law, Senate Bill 165, and it was, basically a thing saying what these are, or a bill saying what these are. They're called quadricycles in the state of Michigan. You can have alcohol on them. You can have a small, go ahead.
And I was going to say, is that because of you and because of the pressure you were putting on?
Maybe indirectly.
Okay.
But we weren't knocking on Snyder's door. They knew, okay, so we were in Indy and we had definitely put the feelers out in Michigan to fix, because we want, honestly, we're Michigan boys. We wanted to do Detroit. But it was too big of a hurdle to try and get through to figure out if it would work. And we were just trying to see if we liked the concept of pedal pubs.
Try it out.
Yeah. And in Indy, it was totally legal because you can drink on the street in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know that, but you can just pop a beer and walk down the street.
Like New Orleans,
Yes.
there's a few cities open in
So
tax,
And they're kind of like the good old boys down there. And it was like, guys, this is cool.
Right.
And that's not really what it was. That's a simplified version, but it was very, very laid back in looking back on it.
Right.
Right. Not at the time. but
Looking back on it, based on what we had to deal with in Detroit, it was a lot less of that. So not really directly, but they knew that it was coming, and so they were a little bit proactive about it. I think Snyder was.
Nice. Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
I so want to. I need to go.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, you do.
let me know, man. After this, we'll get you on tour for sure.
Yeah.
I would love to. You've got something coming up with the Detroit Cycling Championship.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so the Detroit Athletic Club is putting on a race. Well, they've done it for years, called the Detroit Cycling Championship. And for a couple years, we were knocking on their door, pitching them on an idea to do a handlebar race. And this year, they bid on it, and they're like, "All right, let's make it happen." So it's basically a bike race. So, but the handlebar version of it is almost like a halftime show. We're going to take bikes and drag race them down Grand River in front of Beacon Park. And we've got a few bars racing against each other and some DAC members, and there's some prizes. I don't remember all the bars that are officially in. I know Founders is in, Atwater's in, I think Second Best is in, the Brakeman, the Shinola bar there. And there's a few others that are I don't know which ones are official, but it's just going to be a fun thing, kind of like a March Madness style bracket, single elimination, something like I said, kind of like a halftime show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and anybody can go see that. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, we've done it in Indianapolis. We do it for the Indy 500 races, and it started out as just a handlebar thing. Now it's a week-long event centered around this handlebar hot lap race, and it's pretty cool, man. Everybody comes out, Colts, Pacers, all kinds of celebrities and stuff. So maybe one day we'll get
to that level.
Yeah, we'll get to that level. That's the dream, maybe.
All right, here's my question. Can I hire you? Because I want to go do slow roll, and I want to have the coolest bike of anybody in slow roll.
We have to talk to the slow. We've done it before.
You
have?
For
sure. Yeah.
What have you done with them in the past?
So back in 2015, our first slow roll was actually, this is when I met Jason Hall, who he's a friend of mine now. But we did with the Pistons. So the players got on the bike, and we were set to do the slow roll, and then somebody in management was like, he looked at the beer tap and was like. And then the cheerleaders rode. So it wasn't
even better. That's what I want.
Yeah, and I can say actually I'm friends with one of the girls I met on that ride still. So it was a win, I think, anyway. But we did it with the Pistons, kind of cruising through slow roll. We've done it a couple times since then. It's not a great fit because the slow rolls are 8 miles long,
right,
or more. So you can do the first mile, and then it's let's head to a bar.
Yeah, right. Let's take a left here.
Yeah, but it is cool. It is cool to be in it because there's just so many bikes. high-fiving
all
and stuff.
tricked out.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
barbecues.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
All right, Brian, we're going to play a little game. Are you ready?
Sure.
Here we go. We're going to ask you for a series of rapid-fire recommendations. Just tell us the first thing that's comes to mind. Starting with this, we had Evrod Kasimi of WDIV, Channel 4, on the podcast, and he said that going on the HandleBar was next on his Detroit to-do list. So what is next on your Detroit to-do list?
Yeah, you know what? I walk and drive by all the time. To me, like, it's going to probably sound cliche, but I just want to go hang out at, like, the Campus Martius Beach Bar and enjoy a drink and watch HandleBar go by without having to, like, actually work.
Laugh at the guys who are working.
Yeah, or feel stressed out. I'm watching a driver. I always get jealous of all the people that are, like, enjoying the outdoor bars and stuff downtown. That's not a great answer, but that's probably honest.
I understand that. I understand.
Yeah. So if you had a time machine, which moment in Detroit history would you like to go back to and experience?
Oh, man. This probably means, well, yeah, just for me, I guess it would probably be, my grandpa was a Detroit cop. So was my dad, but he was in the bomb squad. And he always used to tell me stories about what he was doing back then. And to be honest, I never cared.
Well, yeah, when you're a kid.
Yeah, you're a kid and stuff.
No.
And then also because I didn't have that Detroit connection. So now I think, man, if I would only paid attention to all those stories he told me about the streets and all that. Because my mom, I've been into it now more with my mom and dad about stuff. But I think it would just be going back to seeing what my grandpa was up to in the bomb squad days. Like, they got some crazy stories, you know.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place to see a concert in the Detroit area?
Probably Beacon Park. I know that sounds weird, but
Not at all. It's great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
last year, Quinn 92.
Yeah.
He did a concert at Beacon Park,
I was
and
at
it was
that.
live. Yeah, and like I didn't actually get to go to it. I was doing HandleBar. We went. We were. I was riding my bicycle by it, and I was like, man, that's a sweet concert. Actually, the next day, Quinn went on a tour with us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was even cooler. But just the way that castle's lit up and stuff. That's super unique.
The Gar Building.
The light show.
You've seen this, right?
I don't think I have.
Minefield does this light show on the Gar Building. It is insane. It's
Really?
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, would that be better than LCA? Probably like pyrotechnics wise, stuff like that. Not even close, but very unique. I think that area is super cool.
Outdoors, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? What Detroit celebrities would be on your dream guest list for the HandleBar?
Man, it'd be really cool to have. Well, it sounds cliche to say Eminem, but he would be pretty sweet. Or like Seeger. Is Seeger Ann Arbor or he's Detroit?
He's Detroit.
Okay, went to Pioneer though, but okay. So probably
We'll accept
He
it.
has a street
Okay.
named after him in Allen Park.
Right,
so-
yes.
I would say probably Eminem but that sounds so cliche.
That's okay.
And so
He's
Seeger,
cool.
but they're just like
Eminem's
awesome
sober
musicians.
now, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ooh,
He
that
could
would be a
have
buzzkill, wouldn't it?
O'Doul's
Yeah.
or something.
We get him a wingman water or something.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I think it'd be cool. Maybe that'd be better that he's sober.
Yes.
You can actually talk to him.
Well, let me ask you, when you're not pedaling, what are you drinking? Is there a Michigan beer that you particularly like?
I'm pretty laid back, man. I like Atwater. I try to drink Atwater just because it's a good Detroit beer. Bell's is awesome. Anything. There's really not a beer you can't put in front of me that I'm like not into. That makes me sound
Well,
like
that's true for me too, but how come your stomach doesn't look like my
Because
stomach?
he rides a bike every day.
That's
Sam.
probably.
that makes me sound like an alcoholic. But by the way, I'm also into White Claw.
I
Oh,
like that
yes.
too.
Big White Claw
Yeah.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah. No laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
Do you have a favorite outdoor festival in town?
Yeah, I think movement for Detroit. I mean, I think movement's pretty sweet. It's just cool. It's such a unique venue to be on the water like that. You know, I mean, Shane Park's. I've been to concerts at Shane Park, and those are awesome, but they're just not quite the view that you get with movement.
Yeah,
I mean, the
yeah.
pictures that you see don't even give it justice.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet.
You know, but yeah, that and Shane Park. We have such an amazing waterfront. Like very few cities butt right up to the water like that.
Yeah, to think we didn't used to use it.
But there's a lot, I used to live in Providence, and Providence had the same problem, which is that they were on the waterfront. They didn't use, I literally lived across the street from a Dunkin' Donuts that the back of it was facing the waterfront.
Yeah, I used to park on the waterfront when I worked at the RenCen.
Right.
Parking lot.
Well, the Bay Area, you got the stadium.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So there are some places that are using it well, and I think a lot of cities are rediscovering the
Detroit's
waterfront. And
awesome now. Yeah.
And starting to use it. Tell me this. When you go to the other cities that you're in, Indianapolis and so on and so forth, what is the thing about Detroit that you brag to your out-of-town friends about?
So basically all the cool things happening in the city. People are really proud of Detroit. I think you would say that about any city. Anybody who's from any city, they're proud of it. But Detroit has so many things happening. When we do a tour, you can take them so many different directions, buy so many different things, get so many awesome pictures. And in some of the other cities, they're still cool. Indy's an awesome city, but it's already developed. It's not done, but you know what I mean? Like Detroit has so much more potential, I feel like.
You're circling the same 3 blocks over and over, aren't you?
You have to go down there. Everybody's got their unique thing, but for me, I'm definitely more proud of Detroit. I just think because there's so much happening. It's such a huge city. Indianapolis is 1 million people. Detroit's 4.5 million.
Yeah.
Metro. 4 times. That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. And there's always something new.
Well,
so people could do your tour and come back the next 2 weeks and see something different.
Yeah, and they do. Right. Mm-hmm. Even if they just go buy it. And then after the tour, they're like, oh, I'm going to go check that out after the tour.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Thank you so much, Brian Lindsay of HandleBar. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, this was great.
I really enjoyed the story because I've just seen these things forever, and I've been like, what
nice
is
to know
the story?
Background.
Yeah,
well, let's get you on a tour.
I'm in.
Right.
We'll make that happen.
We'll do a debrief tour, get some listeners to go with us.
We can do we've done those before, podcasts on the bike.
We should do that. We should make that happen.
Yeah.
And for everybody else, if they want to book a bike, how do they do that?
Yeah.
HandleBarDetroit.com.
And can they follow you on social media as well?
Oh yeah, Instagram. Follow us on Instagram for sure. Like all our stuff.
Good content.
Yeah, great.
I'm
great
a follower.
Content.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really good.
I do it all, so that was kind of a joke, but yeah.
Well, it's awesome.
What's the handle?
At HandleBar Detroit.
Easy to
and
remember.
you book up far in advance, so people need to get on it if they want a date. Yeah.
We do book up. People. I always tell people, they say, well, how long before do I have to book? If you know your date,
Just book it. Yeah.
Yep. You can cancel 2 weeks before. Book it, because people say, oh, my friends, we wanted to go and you had it and now it's gone. It's like, sorry, it's live.
And how many people fit on a bike?
16, and we've got 10 of them, so you can bring up to 160 people. Yep.
Wow. I need some more friends.
Every 2 hours. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, Brian Lindsay of HandleBar, thank you so much. Until next time, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
The D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.